Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Mai, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the Irish poet W.B. Yeats. So who is he, for those who don't know? Well, according to Google and Wikipedia, even though a lot of people don't want to use that because anyone can edit it. But anyways, William Butler Yeats, that's what the B stands for, was an Irish poet, dramatist and writer, and one of the foremost figures of the 20th century literature. And what does the back of the book say? Well, for that I have to put my glasses on. So it says a quote from one of his poems, but I cannot read it because it's blue on blue and these glasses have a shade on it. It says, oh wait, hold on. There spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly because you tread on my dreams. There we go. That's probably a poem we can read. So, some of the most famous lines in Irish poetry come from the pen of William Butler Yeats. Poet, patriarch, dramatist, and senator. That's interesting. Something that Wikipedia is missing there. This illustrated collection of over 40 of his best-loved works on love, politics, old age, myth and legend includes people, places and events that were important to him. From the Sally Gardens to the Lake Isle of Innisfree, the terrible beauty of Easter 1916, poems for his beloved daughter, and the unforgettable two girls in silk kimonos, Eve Gore Booth and Konstantin Markovich. In 1923, Yeats was awarded the Nobel Prize for his always inspired poetry, which gives expression to the spirit of a whole nation. How long did he live for? What were the years he lived? So 1965 to 1939. That is... Sorry, 1865. Whoa. To 1939. You just went backwards in age, I guess. He was 74, so he lived a long life. This is giving me a headache. But, alas, what poems shall we read from this book? So that's a picture drawing of him. There's writing on this side, so I gotta So a drawing. Anyways, the list of poems. I'm gonna take these off. List of illustrations, portrait. We're gonna go. Here we go. William Butler Yeats, the poet and Ireland. William Butler Yeats was born in 1865, the son of John Butler Yeats, an artist whose forebears were Protestant churchmen in Sligo, and Susan Pollexfen, who belonged to a Sligo merchant family. The Yeats family was to make a unique contribution to the cultural and artistic life of the 20th century Ireland. William Butler Yeats became the greatest poet writing in English in the 20th century. His brothers Jack Yeats was one of the most gifted Irish painters of modern times. His sisters Elizabeth and Susan devoted their lives to artistic endeavours and were the founders of the Cola Press. There's more, but we're just going to read that. So here we are going to read The Stolen Child, or you can pause and just read it yourself, or look it up yourself. But for entertainment purposes, for my entertainment and no one else's, we are going to read The Stolen Child. And just note that I might stutter, and I might freeze, and I might stop. That is the fun. The Stolen Child. Where dips the rocky highland of Sleuthwood in the lake, there lies a leafy island where flapping heroines wake. Now what does that, could you imagine? What does that mean? What does this tell us? We don't know, because it was his poetry. Anyone can come up with any assumption on what it means. And objectively speaking, to an extent, anyone could be right. Where are we? The drowsy water rats, there we've hid our fairy vats, full of berries and of reddest stolen cherries. Come away, O human child, to the waters and wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. I hesitate there because fairy is spelled with an E for some reason. Anyways, where the wave of moonlight glosses the dim grey sands with light, far off by furthest rosses, we foot it all the night, weaving olden dancers, mingling hands and mingling glances, till the moon has taken flight. To and fro we leap, and chase the frothy bubbles, while the world is full of troubles, and is anxious in its sleep. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Thank you. That's one poem. I think I'll do... Oh, it still goes. Never mind. Okay, well, there's another page. I thought that was a different poem, but here we are. Where the wandering water gushes from the hills above Glencar, place in Ireland, in pools among the rushes that scarce could bathe a star, we need for slumbering trout and whispering in the ears, give them unquiet dreams, leaning softly out. From ferns that drop their tears over the young streams, come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world more full of weeping than you can understand. Away with us he's going, the soulman eyed. He'll hear no more than lowering of the calves of the warm hillside, or the kettle on the hob sing peace into his breast, or see the brown mice bob round and round the oatmeal chest. For he comes, the human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for a world more full of weeping than he can understand. And then there's a little note that says, the places mentioned in the stolen child were known to be of haunt of fairies, who were wont to carry off the souls of mortals while they slept. That's one poem. Let us look for another. In memory of Iga Gore Booth and Con Markovich. The light of evening Lissadell, great windows open to the south. Two girls in silk kimonos, both beautiful, one a gazelle, but a raving autumn shears, blossom from the summer's wreath. The older is condemned to death. Pardon drags out lonely years, conspiring among the ignorant. I know now what the younger dreams, some vague utopia, and she seems, when withered old and skeleton gaunt, an image of such politics. Many a time I think to seek one or the other out and speak of the old Georgian mansion mix. Pictures of the mind recall the table and the talk of youth. Two girls in silk kimonos, both beautiful, one a gazelle. Dear shadows, now you know it all of the folly of a fight, with a common wrong or right. The innocent and the beautiful have no enemy but time. Arise and bid me strike a match, strike another till time catch. Should the conflagration climb, we the great gazebo built, run till the sages know they convicted us of guilt. Bid me strike a match and blow. October 1927. That was that one. What other poem shall we read? So this one is called Youth and Age, and it's 4 sentences long. Youth and age. Much did I rage when young, being by the world oppressed, but now with flattering tongue it speeds the parting guest. 1924. That's it. That's the whole poem. What then? His chosen comrade thought at school he must grow famous man. He thought the same and lived by rule, all his 20s crammed with toil. What then? Said Plato's ghost. What then? Everything he wrote was read. After certain years he won sufficient money from his need, friends that have been friends indeed. What then? Sang Plato's ghost. What then? All his happy dreams came true. A small house, white daughter's son, grounds where plum and cabbage grew, poets and wits about him drew. What then? Sang Plato's ghost. What then? The work I's done grows old, he thought, according to my boyish plan. Let the fools rage, I swerved in naught. Something to perfection brought. What then? Sang Plato's ghost. What then? Yep. That was another poem of William Butler Yeats. And I feel like maybe one more. 16 dead men. Oh, but we talked at large before, the 16 men who were shot. But who can talk of give and take, what should be and what not? While those dead men are loitering there to stir the boiling pot, you say that we should still the land till Germany's overcome. But who is there to argue that? Now Pierce is deaf and dumb, and is there logic to outweigh MacDonagh's bony thumb? How could you dream they'd listen, that have an ear alone, for those new comrades they have found, Lord Edward and Wolfetone, or meddle with our give and take, that conserve bone to bone? And I feel like that's a good amount of his poetry. So if you're interested, you could always, look into him further. The one word we are going to do today, if I could find it again, and the word of the day. What does conflagration mean? According to Google, it is a noun, an extensive fire which destroys a great deal of land or property. Tinder dry conditions sparked fears of a conflagration in many drought-devastated communities. That's what it means. That's our word of the day. That's the video. Thank you for watching. If you're interested, this is the book. Best Loved Yeats. That is the book. Thank you for watching. Until the next video, where I do some boring everyday stuff. But what else is there to do in today's climate? Thank you for watching. Until the next video, I'm out.